horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. So, a couple players were released today. A couple players being asked for trades, things of that nature. I was going to talk about Stephon Gilmore, but like shortly after being released, and I'm talking like less than a few hours later, the Patriots ended up just trading him to Carolina for a 6th-round draft pick in 2023. And of course, Carolina is going to take on whatever contract that Stephon Gilmore is going to ask from them. You know, a lot of people ask, well, why didn't we go after him? Well, I can just kind of glance over that quickly before we get into the actual Jaylon Smith thing. Basically, we would have had to cut a few people to be able to make room for Stephon Gilmore. We would have had to cut some people for their salaries because the Colts only have about $1.3 million in cap right now, and some things would have to be shifted in order for us to be able to make that move work. So, you know, things probably wouldn't have worked out. Even if we were able to trade it, the fact that we would be able to get him a contract that he likes, it probably wouldn't have happened. Even with his age and everything else, you know how things work. So the other one that everybody kind of has been talking about, and that is former Cowboys linebacker Jaylon Smith. So Jaylon Smith was drafted, I believe, 5 years ago from Notre Dame. Everyone kind of remembers his story. Had blown his knee out in a bowl game against Ohio State. Was drafted by the Cowboys in the 2nd round despite this injury, and did not play the next season after he was drafted. But then in 2018, you know, he joined the team, and from there it looked like some very promising things were going to happen. Over the last year and a half, he has not played up to the normal standard in which he started out his career. Ultimately, why the Cowboys were looking to part ways. Still very surprising, nonetheless. I can tell you that I don't know how good Jaylon Smith really is now. I don't really watch a lot of the Cowboys films, so I can't necessarily tell you. Obviously, he was a part of some very bad defenses over the last year and a half. That's obvious. So, you know, his play has definitely dropped. So there's obviously some concern there when you look at the level of play. Why I think that could potentially be a move that the Colts make? Well, obviously the connections, right? He knows Eberflus. You know, that makes sense. The kind of linebacker he is, a guy that can get from side to side, a guy that's instinctive. You know, you make things like that, that would obviously work. And you know, obviously he's very young. He's only 26. So, you know, a very young, healthy, active linebacker, that's definitely a move that you would be willing to make. Just the only issue I see with it is that contract is an issue. We obviously don't really have the money right now. And the fact that, you know, on top of waning performance going down, things of that nature, I just don't really see a prospect in which the Colts make this move. And we're not really looking for a linebacker right now. Linebacker is not our issue. We're looking more for corners right now than what we are for a linebacker. And I mean, we already have 2 talented linebackers in which we think are actually pretty good. And we're already paying the one a ginormous contract. I don't see why the Colts would make a move here for Jaylon Smith unless he asked for bare minimum. And I just don't think that the Colts will be the highest bidder. And even though Jaylon Smith has connections and we know his physical attributes and his age, I just don't think it quite fits for Indianapolis. Of course, that can always be wrong, but I just don't think it fits here. Let me know what you guys think of Jaylon Smith and potentially going to this team. Don't think the Colts practice today, so we will make sure to get you guys some more updates when we get them. Obviously, this week is very important for the Colts when they and obviously they didn't practice because of, you know, the fact that they're playing a Monday night game. So, you know, you just want to deal with that. Hopefully, we'll get some good news on the injury front this week, and things will start getting back to normal a little bit. Thank you guys again so much for the support. Thank you. And as always, go Colts.